So in kidSPIRIT, we're going to be starting a new series where each week we're going to learn about a different woman in science. So in the past and still today, women have had to overcome different struggles in science. Sometimes they weren't taken seriously by other males in their job, and sometimes they weren't even allowed into school to learn. So I have this book here called 101 Awesome Women Who Transformed Science. And on each page is a different woman and what she did and what all of her accomplishments are. So each week I'm going to pick a different woman and we're going to learn about what kind of science she studied and what amazing things she did that changed the world. So this week we're going to be talking about the incredible woman Sally Ride. So Sally Ride was an astronaut. So an astronaut is someone whose job is to go to space. And she was the very first woman in America to ever be an astronaut and go to space. So Sally Ride. Sally Ride flew on the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1983, becoming the first American woman to go into space. She was born in 1951 in California, and she attended Stanford University, where she gained a very high level of education, 2 undergraduate degrees, a master's degree, and a doctorate in physics. So all of those are different levels of university, and each take a really long time, and you have to have very high marks for. So she studied physics. Physics is another type of science where you learn about the motion of different objects and how objects interact with each other. So that's what she was studying. Afterwards, she was selected by NASA to be one of the first ever female astronauts after answering a newspaper advertisement. NASA was looking for highly skilled people in technology and science. After her training, which included parachute jumping and water survival skills, her role was in communication, and she became part of the Space Shuttle's crew. Her first mission into space was aboard the rocket named the Challenger, and she was 32 years old. During this mission, she was the flight engineer, and she became the first woman to control the shuttle's robotic arm during a mission. She also conducted a lot of other experiments. Before the launch, it was reported that she was asked how she was going to wear makeup in space. She replied, "It's too bad that this is such a big deal. It's too bad our society isn't further along." So it's pretty silly that when she was going into space, which was this huge accomplishment, someone asked her what kind of makeup she was going to wear. To get into space, she had to study for a lot of years. She was in school for a really long time. So they should have asked her a better question. But instead, because she was the first woman going into space, they weren't taking her very seriously and they weren't asking her proper questions. Sally was an amazing role model for women wanting to venture into space and having equal treatment as they do so. Sally became a professor of physics at the University of California. She also founded the Sally Ride Science, a company with the aim of encouraging students to learn about science. When reflecting on her time in space, she said, "On launch day, there was so much excitement and so much was happening around us in the quarters. Even on the way to the launch pad, I didn't really think about it that much at the time. But I came to appreciate what an honor it was to be selected to be the first to get a chance to go into space." She also said, "I didn't succumb to the stereotype that science wasn't for girls." So here is a picture of Sally Ride in her rocket ship in space. So as you can see, Sally didn't have an easy time with her career choice. She had people telling her that science wasn't for girls, and even after she proved them wrong and studied science in school and was on her way to space, they still weren't taking her very seriously. but she proved them all wrong by continuing to follow her dreams and becoming the first American woman to ever go to space. So attached in the newsletter is a worksheet that you can print off at home, and it looks like this. So it's a coloring sheet where you can draw yourself as an astronaut. So I hope that you guys learned a little bit more about astronauts. You learned of how cool it was that Sally Ride overcame all these obstacles and didn't let anyone tell her what she could and couldn't do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next week. Bye!